Okay. Hi, my name is Rachel Douglas, and this is my fourth picture for the Narrative Critique Part 2. This picture goes along with the third one that I critiqued, and upon first glance, it portrays the theme of kind of like this murder mystery thriller, and almost like the person like behind this picture is psychotic. What I really enjoyed about this photograph is that it almost has like a story to it. And it's not just a photograph that has a theme and then you kind of move on from it. It's kind of like a storytelling kind of photograph. And the way the artist uses the elements and principles of design within photography to help kind of create this story, he does a couple of different things. The first thing he does is he kind of changes up the angles and he kind of shoots it upwards, and it makes it appear as if someone is actually kind of glancing up and reading the message that was left for them. The second thing that I think he does really well is the way that he wrote the writing. It's very jagged, very kind of off-centered. Not all of the letters are even. Some are capitalized, some are not. And that kind of shows the disoriented mind of the photographer. And the third thing is with the way that the flash from the camera or maybe a light was used, it is on the bottom center of it, and it shines up so that it reflects the words, and it almost creates like a shadowy effect, which kind of adds to this feeling of like this like thrill, and you're wanting to know like what's going to happen next and what's going on in the photo. Another thing that goes along kind of with the lighting is that there's this almost like reflection within the words, and there's a layering, and again that kind of goes along with the theme and helps you kind of unravel like what's going on and what the photographer is trying to show. This is a very strong photo. If I could change a couple things, I think I would maybe put like a figure in it, maybe the person reading it, and they could have kind of this sense of like fear in their face. That could kind of further just kind of like the storyline. So it could kind of tell the story of how someone, came in, like saw this writing and was, automatically terrified. You could kind of play around like with the subject's like facial expression. If it was like kind of like this fear or like surprise, you could kind of assume that maybe this person like didn't see this coming. Like maybe this is some big surprise. Maybe that the subject is kind of innocent. If you were to have a subject who was kind of like nonchalantly reading it, maybe has like a smirk on his face, excuse me, you could kind of assume that the person almost is expecting it. Maybe the person who wrote the note, maybe the person reading it, he did something wrong, and maybe this is his revenge. If a subject has a smirk on his face, perhaps it could be the one who wrote it. And it could really show the kind of the mind of the person and maybe how psychotic they really are and how delusional they've become. Overall, I think this photo is a very strong photograph. It goes along with this whole narrative. It overall just tells the story very well. There are only a couple things I would add maybe to help this particular photograph tell the story better.